What a finish. The Tampa Bay Lightning with an 8-goal onslaught to finish up their road trip before starting a 3-game homestand. We'll break down some of the upcoming homestand and talk about a devilish win for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
You're Locked On Lightning, your daily podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Lightning your first listen every day. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And if your team is the Tampa Bay Lightning, then this is the show for you. Josh Sperber here to break down some of that Tampa Bay Lightning action, beginning with an 8-5 win over the New Jersey Devils. 5 goals in the second period. That alone would have been the most in a season for the, or most in a game for the Lightning this season. They equaled or topped the 4-goal mark for the 5th time so far this year. Goals have seemed to come easy for Tampa Bay, scoring 4 or more in all but one matchup so far in the regular season, doubling up on that for their largest goal output in a single game with 8. A natural hat trick from Braden Point, 5 goals in the second period, all coming off the stick of Hagel and the captain, Victor Hedman, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Conor Geekie getting moved around the lines was something that we'll discuss as well. He had his first NHL point, getting his most ice time in a game in almost 13 minutes, and he got an assist on one of Brandon Hagel's 3 second period goals to get his first NHL point. And honestly, the biggest thing that I like to see was Brandon Hagel. After that, he gave a quick little fist pump, nice little celebration as you'd expect from a goal scorer who had just scored 2 in a row, one to just take the lead. And then immediately, Hagel went right into the net, dug out the puck for Conor Geekie to make sure the rookie got his first NHL puck that he helped go in the net. An assist for Geekie is his first of his career. He also had a career high with a +3, as did Brandon Hagel with another 4-point game, matching a career high for him as well. Victor Hedman with a multi-goal game, and the Tampa Bay Lightning with a dominant victory. Tampa let up off the gas a little bit in the third period. The most glaring miss was Andrei Vasilevskiy. I don't believe that he is injured. After the game yesterday, when he was pulled in the second period, the head coach, John Cooper, said that it was just time to pull Andrei Vasilevskiy, and it just kind of stayed that way. It was the first start for Jonas Johansson, and it did seem that this was just going to be the natural start. It was Johansson's first start of the year. The Lightning had a run of games just in quick succession. They had 3 road games in 4 days. So you got to think one of those, particularly the end of a back-to-back after a rough loss where he was pulled. Don't think that Andrei Vasilevskiy's benching had anything to do with Vazi's skills in goal. His job certainly doesn't seem to be threatened, and it's likely that we'll see Vazi back in the net when the Tampa Bay Lightning suit up against the Minnesota Wild to begin a 3-game road stand over the better part of a week. That starts tomorrow. We'll preview that show tomorrow. Jonathan Davis from VSiN will join us to get some of the big bets to start off the homestand. But continuing on the road trip, obviously the Brandon Hagel hat trick, a natural hat trick, and one of the few that he has scored so far in his young NHL career. Brandon Hagel getting all 3 goals in a row in the second period, his 3rd career hat trick in his 299th career game, setting a career high with 4 points, tying the Bolts franchise record with points in a period for 4. And Hagel now needs 5 goals to get 100 in his career. And I think that he did a really good job leading that second line. The Lightning let up a quick goal to start the second period, and then it was Hagel's onslaught that helped push Tampa over the edge. And that 5 goals in the second period proved to be an insurmountable lead. The Lightning getting 5 straight after Timo Meier scored a goal within the first minute of the period to give the lead to the New Jersey Devils on an assist from Jack Hughes, who had a great game for New Jersey, and he looked really impressive. But I think for the Lightning, when you look at the most impressive parts about this game, first off, just that weird ricochet of a shorthanded goal from J.J. Moser. That really just put the icing on the cake, and it was honestly one of just the most improbable goals I've ever seen. But when you look at more probable goals, you look at Braden Points, that equalizer in the first period, a really nice heads-up play. The ball was just ping-ponging around the center of the net on the power play. He knocked it down with his hand. Little tap-in past the New Jersey goalie to tie the game up in 1 in the first period. And what really impressed me about that Victor Hedman and Brandon Hagel show in the second period was the fact that it just kind of signaled enough is enough for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're a team that this season has frequently been in the situation where they have let up the first goal and they've had to kind of regroup and they've had to get themselves kind of back on the good foot. Now, you know, the first period was pretty contentious, going back and forth. They certainly didn't like how they gave up that second period goal in the first minute on a quick tap in after a solid end to the first period. And they just, after that Timo Meier goal, you could just tell that the Lightning offense had had enough, and they just went into overdrive and put on the best offensive period that they have seen all season. 5 goals equaled or surpassed the biggest output that the Lightning have had in a single game so far. So, I mean, that's just really impressive to be able to do that in one single period on the road against a Devils team that had one of the best record in terms of points in the entire NHL heading into this game. So, I mean, the Lightning faced a team who started out hot, and they really took it to them, particularly in that second period. And the third period was a bit more back and forth, but, you know, the 2 power play goals for the Devils is something that you want to avoid with the Tampa Bay Lightning, but you got to love the way the Lightning took advantage of the Devils' mistakes. Just 2 penalties drawn by the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were 2 for 2, a full 100% on power plays for the first time this season in a very clean game that was predicated on a whole lot of offense. But you love to see power play goals get in. There was that smart goal by Point where he knocked down the shot and then tapped it in. And then Jake Gensel, within the first seconds of the second power play, just stuck it in off of the faceoff. And that really sealed it for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But this Devils team showed no quit. And the Lightning, while it wasn't their best defensive game, I think part of that was because Johansson was in goal instead of Andrei Vasilevsky. The offense really showed out and stepped up for the Tampa Bay Lightning in a game that you don't want to say was a must-win game because, frankly, it's the middle of October. But after 2 tough losses on the road against really solid teams, it's nice to beat, you know, a team that's been one of the surprising stories of the NHL this season, and a Devils team that has been really solid, and the Tampa Bay Lightning just completely took it to them with their best offensive performance on the season. Now, they're going to want to just get better on defense. I think some of that is going to be improved when Vasilevsky likely comes back on Thursday. And I also just think it kind of starts with the defense. You know, the Lightning, I don't think do as good of a job controlling the middle of the ice, or they didn't in this game on the road. And hopefully some home cooking is going to be exactly what the Lightning need to get some help on defense, as they had one of their best defensive games at home against the Vancouver Canucks to start off the home slate of their season. The Vegas Golden Knights really got to them, but I think the Lightning are, they're coming up against a team that is lower in the standings in Minnesota. So I think this is a good opportunity for Tampa to show that they can be a really solid defensive team. I'd like to see a nice limiting game on defense for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And defensively, that's going to start with Victor Hedman, the team captain. And he showed strong leadership and why he was the obvious choice for Lightning captain at the beginning of the season. Really proving that with his 2-goal game to help turn the tide in the Lightning win over New Jersey. Now, we are going to go through a couple of sports sites. First, starting off with one of my favorite things involving sports, going to live games. And the easiest way to do that is on Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff and shows you only incredible deals on the best seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. One of my favorite features with Game Time is the fact that you can see your seat. You can get like a 3D view of the seat that you plan on sitting in when you're looking at tickets to see exactly what you'll be getting with your purchase. And that makes it a whole lot easier. No obstructed views, no nothing. You see what you get with Game Time, and then you pick where you want to go see. So make sure that you get onto the Game Time app, give it a download, make an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first ticket purchase, and take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Terms apply, but make sure to create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNHL. That's capital LOCKED, capital ON, capital N, capital H, capital L, and you can get $20 off if you download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. And now Prize Picks is another one of our sponsors, and it is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks have made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You can pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, and you can sign up today to win $50 instantly when you play just 5. You don't even need a win to receive your $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Every Tuesday, Prize Picks discount selects player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. You can download the app today and get $50 instantly when you play Prize Picks, when you pay $5 on Prize Picks and use the code LOCKEDONNHL. Go to prizepicks.com and prizepicks.onelink.me/LME0/LockedOnNHL to get the most out of the Prize Picks app. Now, Victor Hedman has always been a strong leader on the Tampa Bay Lightning defense. He was the unanimous choice to be named captain at the beginning of the season. Now, I don't want to say that I don't want to say talk like I doubted this in any way. I don't think anyone did. But time and time again, Victor Hedman has proved to be a strong leader for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the way that he took up the captain's position very humbly after the departure of Steven Stamkos, a franchise legend, a close friend of Victor Hedman, and a key part of some of the best Tampa Bay Lightning teams that have ever taken the ice. And Victor Hedman was also a crucial part of those teams. Now he's got the C on his jersey, and I really think the first chance for him to have kind of a signature captain moment and really deliver as the leader, as the guy for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And he did so with flying colors. 2 goals in a crucial time, including the game-tying goal about 7 minutes after the New Jersey Devils took the lead. And Hedman ended up with a game-winning goal, scoring the 5th goal of the second period with about 2 minutes left in the second period. 2 difficult goals for Victor Hedman, but they stayed incredibly crucial as well. And it was, I don't want to say it's going to be the best game Hedman has all season, because he's just so good. You can expect these kind of games makes a big impact. But this was definitely a signature captain game for Victor Hedman. The Lightning had lost 2 really tough battles. The Senators game they were kind of in. The Blue Jays game was just a dominant performance by Toronto. But there's still 2 pretty big losses. And the Lightning really needed a win to try and turn around the road trip. You want to go back to home, back on a home stand on a good note. And the Lightning certainly needed that. And it just really, I mentioned it was kind of like enough is enough sort of rally for the Lightning with those 5 unanswered goals. And that really started from Victor Hedman. I don't think Brandon Hagel can get that hat trick, can carry the same kind of momentum into the second period if Victor Hedman doesn't start it off. And he really just gave the Lightning exactly what they needed. And I think he has a chance to do even more. It's hard to ask a lot of a guy who just scored 2 goals, the game tire, and what proved to be the game winner in a key divisional matchup. But there's still more that I think Victor Hedman can do for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that is lead a really strong defensive performance against the Minnesota Wild on Thursday, because the Lightning started off looking incredible on defense. They won 4-1 in 2 games, scoring a string of unanswered goals in both of them, including the final 4 in the opening day win on the road against Carolina. I'm not saying repeat that kind of game exactly, but I just think that the Lightning are due for another really strong defensive game. They just came out and probably, put some fear into the Minnesota Wild with their offensive performance. 8 goals in a game is not easy in hockey. And the Lightning made that look easy, topping their season best in goals in just 1 period. But the only thing really lacking from that game against the Devils was defense. There have been times where the Lightning have looked a bit slower than the opposition. That was certainly the case in the win against New Jersey. The power play, they let up 2 of 3 attempts. Still a very clean game, but each team was just on it offensively. And I think that really, played a big part. When you have over 70 shots in a game combined, it's going to be an offensive explosion. But the Lightning, I think they block shots really well, but they just need a little bit more on the defensive side of the puck, whether that's more takeaways, whether that's more hits, whether that's just playing more physically. I mean, they just need to prevent goals. Some of that, again, I think there are, 1 or 2 of those shots that Andrei Vasilevsky might have saved rather than Jonas Johansson. But, you need to give your starting goalie a rest sometimes. So it starts with the defense. I mean, Victor Hedman is going to be a constant for the Tampa Bay Lightning. That has been clear since he took the ice for the first time with that blue and white jersey on. He is going to be someone that the Lightning lean on, and they need to lean on him right now. He is one of the longest tenured members in Tampa Bay Lightning history. I mean, he just means so much to this team, and you can tell how well the team can respond to his leadership. And I think that they really did when Heddy got that goal. It just unlocked something in the Lightning offense after he tied the game, and it led to a goal run that we have not seen over the course of this season. So I don't want to say that we just need more goals from Victor Hedman. Obviously him contributing in the offensive side of the puck is not is a very good thing. And it's something that the Lightning could use, and it's something that can help them win games as it did against the New Jersey Devils. But defensively is now where the Lightning really need to tighten up, because offensively, I think they've shown that they can compete with any team in the league. They've had a pretty wide array of skills in terms of teams that are coming off of a playoff berth, in terms of teams that will be challenging for a playoff berth this year, and then obviously against a resurgent team like the New Jersey Devils, who are trying to get back into the postseason and start a new era of great hockey. But defensively has proven to be the Lightning's biggest weakness over the course of this young season so far. And I think a game against the Minnesota Wild, not one of the better teams in the NHL, is a perfect time for the Lightning to have a good defensive win. And that's something that we'll talk about a little bit more tomorrow. Something that we've talked about quite a bit is Conor Geekie, who got his first NHL point in the win against the New Jersey Devils on move up. He went from line 3 to line 2 for the first time in his NHL career. We'll talk about how much more we might be seeing of that and what it means for the Lightning down the road. Now, most of my friends use FanDuel when betting on sports, and that is because FanDuel is America's #1 sports book, and you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. When you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the exact same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first bet of only $5. That is a great deal, and that is FanDuel.com. Again, tomorrow we're going to have a lot more when it comes to betting odds. Jonathan Davis of VSiN is going to be on the show to talk sports betting with us here on Locked On Lightning. But now I want to talk to you guys about the Joint Chiropractic, where I was able to get an appointment a couple weeks ago. I have back problems, particularly in my lower back, and those have been severely limited since I went to one of the Joint's 23 locations in the Tampa Bay area. The doctors were so great. They really quickly diagnosed the problem areas with me where I was feeling pain, gave me a nice little stretching routine so I could keep the pain off. And I, have barely needed to come back in there since, though I am going to be going back, and you can get in the game as well. Go to Buccaneers.com, fans, contests, and promotions, and get your first visit for $19. We're crossing sports, but of course, staying in the great Tampa Bay area, with the Joint is proud to serve in one of its 23 locations. So no matter where you go, there's going to be a Joint close to you, and I highly recommend that you use their chiropractic services. Josh Sperber back here for the final segment of tonight's game, talking about Conor Geekie, who got his first NHL point, getting an assist on one of Brandon Hagel's 3 second-period goals, and it was a really good-looking goal. It was goal number 2 of the Hagel hat trick on a 2-on-1 fast break. Sorelli had given it to Geekie. Hagel was on the left side of the ice, slides it underneath the defender's stick. Hagel taps it in. It's a goal for the Lightning, and Conor Geekie officially the board. Now that broke up what had been a pretty consistent line of Sorelli, Hagel, and Paul. Conor Geekie typically plays as a center, getting shifts as a right wing in that second line. And I think it shows that the Lightning are willing to just move guys out of their conventional positions just to try and win games. I think it was just trying to get Geekie a different look at the ice, get him some more experience with some more experienced players. And I think that can only be a good thing for the Tampa Bay Lightning, because I think an important point of this season for Tampa is getting Conor Geekie up to speed. They expect him to be a blue chip prospect, yes, but they don't expect him to turn into one of the stars of the game in his first season. That is not something that's easy to do by any stretch of the word, but he has been on the third line, and it seems like he's played his best. He's helped, get his most chances and helped, be somewhat involved in some of the Lightning's chances when he's surrounded by veteran players. And, he's able to get a guy like Brandon Hagel, who's so good in open ice and can just get to a point where he's a dangerous goal scoring threat. And he had that opportunity, and Geekie just did not miss. He made a really nice pass and did exactly what you would expect an NHL player to do. And I don't know how much more they're going to move Geekie around. I mean, John Cooper said that it was just about, getting him different looks and getting him a chance to play with some of the different guys. I mean, this is a guy that the Lightning really respect as a teammate. And the coaches are, really believe that this is someone who could be a big piece of the future of this franchise. And, I loved seeing Brandon Hagel immediately go into the net to get that puck for Conor Geekie. And one thing that became very clear from, most specifically that moment, but really just from the first couple of weeks of the season, is how well respected Conor Geekie already is by his Tampa Bay Lightning teammates. I mean, Hagel just going right in there and getting the puck for him without even thinking, just a quick little celebration. He cared a lot more about getting that puck for his teammate than celebrating with his team. And I'm not trying to say that it's because he's not a team player, because Hagel absolutely is. But part of being a team player is celebrating these kind of big moments with some of your younger players, particularly your rookies. And you love seeing that from Brandon Hagel. And it gives the Lightning that much more momentum. After a game like this, the team's already going to be leaving the road on a high. The team's already going to be in a really good mood, but you start off a 3-game homestand against a couple of really difficult teams. The Lightning are kind of hoping that the Wild is going to be an easy one at home, because you got the Capitals and the Predators, 2 veteran-heavy, just really solid teams coming up within the next week on this upcoming homestand for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And it's going to be a challenge for sure. And you really need, get the guys firing on all cylinders. And, the defense, I think, is definitely definitely important, but the offense still has to get the job done. And it has been largely populated from goals and assists from the first 2 lines, which is, more common in the NHL, but you still want to get those lower line guys in a groove. And with a player of Conor Geekie's caliber, just getting this assist could unlock something. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Conor Geekie go on an absolute tear over the next couple of games, get himself on the score sheet with some assists and some goals and really start stuffing the stat sheet for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And in a situation like this, it could be that kind of jumping off point for a player like Conor Geekie, because the talent has always been there. That was never in doubt. And now, he seemed to get more and more comfortable on NHL ice, and moving him around, I think getting him used to playing with other teammates should get him more comfortable with the team, because you're not going to be moving around like that if the coach doesn't think that you're doing your job well. Geekie has been playing really well, and now he's got something on the score sheet to prove it. I'd really like to see Conor Geekie maybe stay a bit more consistent with that third line. I think right now it's probably best to have him on a third or fourth line, but it does show good progress for the rookie. It does show that he is catching the eye of the coaches and that he is doing everything that they're asking of him, with solid returns. He's having a good start to his season, and John Cooper just wants to see more of him. And I think that slowly but surely we'll start to see more and more of Conor Geekie get into more lines, get into more shifts, and start playing with different teammates on the Lightning as they try and find where the best fit for the promising young rookie is. But I don't want to say this is Conor Geekie's breakout game, but I do want to say that game might be coming soon. And when it does, the rest of the NHL better watch out. And that is something that we'll have to talk about later on the show, as that is going to be it for today's episode of Locked On Lightning. I want to thank all of you for tuning in and making Locked On Lightning your first listen today. Now for your second listen, make sure to check out Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Become a fantasy expert and get the edge over your league mates with daily tips from Steal and Flip. Find Locked On Fantasy Hockey on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. And wherever you do listen to your podcast, please make sure to give us a like, follow, and subscribe. We really appreciate your guys' support. The show is for all of you, so we want to make sure that you guys are following to keep up on all of the Locked On Lightning content that we have for you throughout the course of this NHL season. Thank you all again for tuning in. I'm Josh Sperber, wishing you a great continuation of your week. Happy Wednesday, and we'll talk to you guys once again tomorrow. Go Bolts, and have a great day.